First of all, I want to say that probably 80% of you here did not know the second verse of America the Beautiful. I saw this guy over here going. So, no one knows. We all know that. First of all, of course, let me thank President Larson, Chairman Carlton, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the Bentley community, faculty, staff, and especially you, the 2010 graduates of the McCallum School, and of course, your family and your friends that have gathered here today. I'm especially grateful for this opportunity because I have a daughter that is a rising junior here at Bentley, and I have a son that is starting in the fall, so it couldn't be a prouder moment. I wasn't sure what to say, actually, so I thought I would do a little research. And I went to Skellig on Thursday night. I don't really actually remember all the advice that I got there, but I'm sure it was pretty important advice. And some of you, I really think you need to check yourselves into programs. So with that, the morning was another life lesson for me, and when I tried to bypass, I wish I could walk, but we don't have a microphone that can do that. I tried to bypass, campus police when I got here, and quickly I was told, but politely, you will go to lot number 7 and you will take the bus. And I said, I don't think you understand. I am the commencement speaker here. So the policeman went down the list and said, you don't look like a Susie Orman. And I said, she's the warm-up act. That got me really even faster to the bus stop, and the ride down was really excellent. They served crackers and drinks, and it was just like flying first class. But it is always good to have the air removed from your balloon every once in a while, just to remind you that you're not just such a big deal after all. And as I look out on the sea of robes, nice color, it reminds me of Robert Orban's quote that says, a graduation ceremony is an event where the commencement speaker tells thousands of students dressed in identical caps and gowns that individuality is the key to success. Just before I put on my robe today, Gloria came up and said, well, thanks for coming. Are you nervous? And I said, certainly a little bit. And then she said, let me give you Anthony Lake's famous commencement line. He said, just think of yourself as the body at an Irish wake. They need you in order to have a party. But no one really expects you to say very much. A quote I find poignant for today comes from a book by Richard Bach, who wrote it 30 years ago, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And let me quote it. When you come to the edge of all the light you have known and are about to step out into darkness, faith is knowing one of two things will happen. There will be something to stand on, or you'll be taught to fly. Bentley has prepared you to fly, so you can soar to great heights. There are no limits as long as you have belief in yourselves. Many of you working today, and you've experienced that. It's going to get better as time goes on. I am a late bloomer. As a matter of fact, I really have no business being up here. The reason they gave me this award is because they knew of my college history. The last thing I remember about college was the 2 Ds and 3 Fs in my second semester of my sophomore year. And that was at the University of South Carolina. I mean, give me a break. You're dating your cousin. Your uncle, or we used to call him Uncle Dad Bob, he was the teacher, and I still failed. And my dad, who was a wonderful Scotsman, a decorated World War II veteran and a very strict disciplinarian, wrote me a letter because it was cheaper than calling me. And he said, "You must have worked very hard to accomplish these grades." Then he ended the letter in bold capital letters, "You're cut off." Completely. No money for books, booze, tuition, books, gas, cut off completely. Enjoy your newfound freedom. Well, I didn't enjoy that freedom at all, and I thought he was kidding, but the money never showed up. So while changing tires at Goodyear during the week and selling refrigerators and air conditioners on the weekend, selling retail clothes, I was selling records also, and I didn't know if I should say that because it's a big black thing. It makes no sense. Yet you can't even put it in a DVD player. But it's about this big, and you had to have a needle. You know, the only needles we had in the 60s, well, that's another thing. I'm surprised I even remember that. But after all that working, I wanted to congratulate you because you had it much tougher than the folks who graduated this morning. Most of you work, and it is damn difficult. It's a balancing act to try to balance just the pressures of the family, going to school, earning enough money to keep all the pieces together. So I commend you all for your very hard work and dedication. When I finally started my career, I was extremely fortunate to start with a consumer products company. Then moved on a couple years later, and then a couple years later, until I found the opportunity to join a medical company. So it's safe to say that my career did not exactly get off on a fast track. In fact, there was a detour that happened. I decided I no longer wanted to work for the man, that I could do a much better job. See, it hasn't changed. No one wants to work for the man. Well, I decided to go off on my own and form an investment advisory company in the healthcare field. And I will tell you that the highs are so high, they're wonderful, but the lows are lower than you could ever imagine. They're depressing. And when you put up, when you have to second mortgage your house and have to borrow money on your credit cards just to stay afloat, that's when you can appreciate how tough it is to be on your own. And as trite as it sounds, with all the twists and turns and potholes, what I did find out is there is no substitute for hard work, a very trite and used expression. People say, yeah, but you had luck though, right? Yeah, as the saying goes, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Nothing can substitute that. One of the easiest things to do when you're in trouble is to hedge your bet by start looking at other things. By saying, maybe I can get another job, maybe I can leave this company, maybe the company I started, maybe it's not going to make it. So you start looking. All that does is distract you. You have got to burn the boats. And there's a story that goes that Cortez, when he was invading Mexico, let's call it what it is, he said to his men, if we're going back in their ships. Their men had no choice. You have to keep telling yourself to set your goals high. Go for what seems unreachable. And do not give in to the naysayers. And many times the naysayers are going to be your family and your friends. Follow those dreams. If you fall a bit short, you're still going to be very satisfied where you come out. I have been given a considerable daunting task to try to provide words on building on your current careers, how to be successful in life. Well, having just run the Boston Marathon, I'd like to compare faith and belief in yourself to running a marathon. Running 26.2 miles, the point 2 is the part that really gets to you, requires training, focus, an enormous amount of energy, a bit of insanity, and the ability to block out pain and block out negative thoughts, which are imploring you to stop, to give up, especially during the last 6 miles of the race. And for any of you that have experienced the challenge, you understand the difficulty the last 6 miles can be. Everything is just going so well. And then your glycogen's depleted, your muscles start tightening up, then you start cramping, then the lactic acid really starts taking over. If you get lucky, you can sit down and you recover, and then you run or walk to the finish. If you don't, you just might throw up and pass out. All true. The one I remember the most is the Chicago Marathon. See, I remember the one that was the toughest, not the one where I ran my best time. I became so disoriented, I ran directly into a mailbox. Now imagine, the mailbox is not in the middle of the road. Maybe in Mayor Menino's Boston it's in the middle of the road, but it is, and Adam Vinatieri and whomever else is helping him. But I had to go way off to the side to hit that mailbox. That's not the bad part. The bad part is I was so disoriented, I spent 15 minutes apologizing to the mailbox. I stopped 100 yards from the finish line, sat down, and that was it. I had somebody come over and say, come on, you got to get up, you got to finish, you've tried so hard. That was it for me. During those agonizing closing miles, I couldn't focus on the victories of the past. I only focused on the pain I was feeling then and there. It was easier to give in to failure than focus on the finishing of what I had started. Finally, I got up and I did stagger to the finish line. You have to finish what you start. You have got to burn the boats, especially in the face of adversity. Anybody can give up. The easiest thing in the world to do is to give up, but to hold it together when everyone else understands if you fell apart, that is what's true strength. Nelson Mandela said, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Burn the boats. You will find times in your life where you seem like you hit a wall. The pressures of family and work become overwhelming and the walls are closing in. I'm here today to say, believe in yourself, have faith, especially in the face of life's challenging realities. I have no proven formula for winning the race. Everyone runs at his or her pace. But I do know where the power comes from to see the race to the end. The power comes from within. And each and every one of you have control over that power. Although many of you have already started your careers, there are opportunities and choices ahead of you. These choices will define who you are and will define your legacy, the legacy you leave to others around you. I have defined my legacy by my actions and choices. At times, I made decisions that were immature, mostly immature, stupid, selfish, foolhardy, and those choices hurt me, but more importantly, they hurt those close to me, and I sincerely regret that, and I can't take that back. But I sure as heck can work damn hard on trying to improve the future by trying to make a difference in the lives of others, by reaching out to those who need a helping hand, to put them on a better path to face life's obstacles. Giving of yourself, your time, your energy, your money to help others will bring real meaning and fulfillment to your life. Although it took me many years to see the obvious during this imperfect journey of mine, there are a few things that have become clear. Today I'm going to share just a few. And I hope to leave you with a thought that if you, with all your heart, combine the talents which you've been blessed with and the skills you have learned here at Bentley with your core beliefs and your core passion, you will surely succeed. I want you to commit yourself to live with integrity. Keep your promises. Remember that people are more important than things. Show gratitude. Deal with reality. Simplify things. Follow your passion and make a difference in the lives of others. First, living with integrity. Ethics are black and white, although most individuals, including myself, have seen them as gray. People, I think maybe like a little, like a chocolate thing to give her, or cookie, passy. I have acquiesced to telling harmless little white lies, but I'm here to tell you I have learned from the past, or hopefully I have, and sometimes with a lot of difficulty. It just doesn't pay to be anything but honest. You take this, well, sure, I know that. Many times in your personal and professional life, you're going to be faced with a fundamental question: will I tell the truth, or will I lie? Even if it's just a little white lie, a small one. Perhaps telling the truth is a more difficult path, but you will find that telling a lie is much harder. A colleague told me, if you lie now, will you ever be able to remember who you lied to and what the lie was? In life and in business, assure people that you can be trusted, even with bad news, especially with bad news. People will view you differently if they know they can count on you to tell them the truth. Trust is the cornerstone that successful careers, relationships, and businesses are built upon. And without it, we're nowhere. Keep your promises. My grandfather, a wonderful man, who believed in strong Scottish family principles, told me to always keep a promise, and often said that a man's word was his bond. He didn't believe in contracts. He believed in a man's word. He believed in a man's handshake. He said promises at times could be very painful and expensive, but it was at these moments that man defined whether they were honorable or not. A quote from the movie Wall Street, which should be, I think, watching that everybody should be forced to do while they're in college, because Wall Street #2 is coming out 25 years later now. But there's a quote in it that says, "Man looks in the abyss. There's nothing staring back at him. At that moment, man finds his character, and that is what keeps him out of the abyss." Keep your commitments. Be consistent. Live up to your promises. Take them seriously, and only make them if you intend to keep them. People are more important than things. Randy Pausch, who became nationally known for his last lecture at Carnegie Mellon, where he taught, tells the story of a young child throwing up all over his car and ruining the back seat. So he had to ask himself, what was more important? It's a choice between a thing, a car, and the chance to not make a small child feel bad about it forever. Randy chose the child, of course, because if you need help during your life, comfort and care are going to come from those who have been important to you, not from the material things that you have acquired. Let me try to, excuse me, because there are a couple people out there doing this. So I'm going to tweet right now and tell you how my speech is going. I'm going to be on the blog. Let me blog, then I'll tweet. All right. Okay. I said it was going so-so. All right. Show gratitude. This is the part I'm going to do next. You're going to meet many people in your life who are all too ready to take credit for something that you did. They're going to take credit for everything, in fact. I invented the question mark. People still think that someone else invented it, but I don't go around saying I invented the question mark or the internet. Al Gore does that. Some of these people are going to use the word I. You're never going to hear we out of them. You have to be gracious in life. You've got to thank people, spread the credit, thank those around you, especially as a manager. Give credit at work. How about doing it behind someone's back? Imagine what a man could do if he doesn't need to take credit. Deal with reality. Why do people in their business and professional life fool themselves into believing a situation will improve or people will change? The answer is simple: because it is easier than accepting reality. Reality is a tough pill. Throughout your life, you're going to find many difficulties that you're going to have to face, and the choices are going to challenge you to look at the reality of a situation and then decide one course of action. In the end, people are going to trust you and you and yourself if you can look at things honestly and make clear decisions. Simplify things. If you cannot explain why you are doing something, whether it's personal, professional, or investing, you shouldn't be doing it if you can't explain it in one sentence. Follow your passion, which is my favorite. I've learned that my enthusiasm for trying to make a difference in women's lives with breast cancer has truly changed my life. In 2000, after 17 years working for my advisory company, I took what I thought would be a short sabbatical to join Hologic, to pursue a mission. A neighbor in South Carolina who was 43 with 3 children died of breast cancer after a long battle. When we finished the acquisition, Hologic asked me to join the company. Through the passing of this neighbor, I found my passion, fighting breast cancer, detect it early, and finally eradicating it. I would use my position to make a difference in the lives of women around the world to help gain support for implementing breast cancer programs. The earlier that breast cancer is found, the better chance of survival. Did you know that 1 in 8 women in the United States is going to get breast cancer in her life? It is a staggering statistics. It doesn't matter what race you are, what color, what creed, 1 in 8. It doesn't matter if you have a pre-genetic disposition. It is a deadly, vicious disease, and we have to do something about it. And these women are not anonymous. They're our grandmothers, our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, and they are young and they are old. And as I travel and I see a young girl who is 23 years old with breast cancer in stage 3 or stage 4, knowing she will not live, it breaks my heart. We can do a lot more in this world. I want to tell you about one of these women. Her name is Tracy. I first met her in 2001, and we were filming a television program we co-sponsored called You're Not Alone. Tracy was first diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer at age 32, 6 months after the birth of her son, Jason. She ended her segment of the show by saying she had only one wish at that time, to dance at her son's wedding. Of course, that was a long way away, and that's exactly what her point was. She wanted to be around for it. Tracy was energetic, enthusiastic, bubbly, bright. She could fill up this auditorium. And she wanted to love her family a long time. Her breast cancer progressed to stage 4. She fought it for the next 7 years and kept telling her friends, I'll never make 40. I'll never. This cancer is killing me. But she did make 40. She enjoyed her birthday. And she wrote something that I'd like to just read. I'm blessed to have a beloved, beleaguered, adored husband who valiantly remains my most insistent supporter, despite all the challenges and hardships breast cancer has brought on us. My son Jason has never known me as anything but someone living with cancer. He knows my oncologist. He sat on my lap while I've received chemotherapy and blood transfusions. He knows mommy is sick. He gets stupid tired at times, and thanks to an intense course of radiation, her shoulder can really ache. But he is happy, silly, brilliant, energetic, and he enjoys all of the things that a young child should. Last year, she passed away with her friends nearby. I've seen her video dozens of times with a tear in her eye and a crack in her voice. All I want to do is to be able to dance at my son's wedding. Although Tracy didn't realize the wish that helped carry her for so many years, she did leave Jason with an indelible memory of the strength and the character of his mother and what real courage is about. Through Tracy and so many others, including my special Pink Ladies group I support in Idaho and Utah, I have found my passion, and it's to make a difference in the fight to improving the early detection of breast cancer. It took many years to find my passion, but I did, and I was blessed to be able to incorporate it into my work with the unwavering and dedicated support of Hologic Associates. But as Ted Kennedy said, the work goes on, the cause endures, the hope still lives, and the dream shall never die. And my fight will certainly continue. I encourage each and every one of you today, thank you. I'll buy the first drinks at Selig tonight. Today, I encourage you all to think carefully about what you care for, what really drives you, what's your passion. Try to align your passion with your work. It took me far too long to come to this realization. Once you find it and embrace it, it will provide a balance between the ups and downs of life's journey. As that great philosopher, I'm sure you all know, Tupac, said. The Pope's got his song. It's true. I know it seems hard sometimes, but remember one thing. Through every dark night, there's a bright day after that. So no matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out, keep your head up, and handle it. You can make a difference by supporting those in need that don't know where to reach to find the helping hand. Over 40 years ago, I printed a quote on success from Ralph Waldo Emerson and placed it in a frame, displayed it really proudly, on my wall. It looked good. Everyone knew I cared, but it only took me 30 years to figure it out. The last line reads, to note that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded. Start now in some small way and contribute to the lives of others. It doesn't have to be money. Be proactive. Get involved. Along my uneven adventure, I learned a few of life's realities. There's no shortage of people who need our help in this world, especially women. And when women are impacted, children and families are affected, making the situation more grave. And I have seen this in Africa, India, South Africa, South America, Southeast Asia, just to name a few. For every natural resource, life is forever changed, and the work to rebuild is an endless process. Nothing happens until you make a commitment and get involved. Good intentions without follow-through is an empty promise. Be an instrument of change. Be a crusader for the greater good. Do something that makes your life more meaningful because someone else has benefited. Through your efforts and philanthropy, you're helping people you don't know, children you'll never meet. But make no mistake, their lives will be enriched and their chance of a healthier, happier life will be improved. It's amazing how one voice can become many, and those voices become a cause, a movement, a catalyst for change, and can impact thousands. I encourage you all today to be that voice. As Oprah Winfrey said, I choose to rise out of that storm and see that in moments of desperation, fear, and helplessness, each of us can be a rainbow of hope, doing what we can to extend ourselves in kindness and grace to one another. And I know for sure that there is no them, there is only us. Having successfully earned your degree at Bentley, you have far more training than I've ever had. You're living in a wired world where communicating 7,000 miles away can be done in a millisecond through Facebook, Twitter, blogs, and Skype. We're all connected. We are one global community, and the opportunities to contribute are larger than ever because the needs of our planet continue to grow exponentially. At this time in your lives, for you to decide what your passion is, it's time for you to decide what your passion is. What is your calling going to be? Find your passion, follow your passion, and if you are true to it, you will find great satisfaction and great success. And more importantly, you will make a difference. And this I do promise you. Thank you for allowing me to play a very small part on your very, very special day. You have a great deal to celebrate. You have accomplished much already. I congratulate you. I wish you and your family many blessings. And I want to thank, of course, my wife, Pam, my kids for their support over these long years and putting up with me being a jackass. So now that this has been recorded, maybe I can get back some of the stuff I didn't do right. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you again.